Okay, so I got cut off with the 10-minute Screencastify limit on my last little foray into notes on Google Classroom. And there were a couple, really one other thing that I wanted to share that I do or that I post in Google Classroom. And also too, I got a little cut off on the end there on how I use, the question feature for an exit ticket, or sometimes just to see what they know before we even begin. So like I said, in case I went too fast, if you click in that little plus sign, you can create a question, ask your question. You can give it a due date. You can obviously you can have students reply to each other or edit their answers. I personally am not a fan of students replying to each other always, mostly because they're not always appropriate in their replies, but that's something that you can keep track of and remind them of on Google Classroom. But I do give them the option to edit their answers if needed. So you just type in your question there. Google Classroom. Okay. And you can even leave instructions or links or videos. And then you hit ask. So you can see here that, I created a little video to go with something that we learned in this last unit, and asked some questions to accompany that. And then you can see who's finished here by clicking done. So I can see which students are done and which students are not done. And you can message those students too. So, this particular student I might want to message. You can also grade the questions. I use this as more of just a check-in thing or check-out thing, but you obviously can, apply a grade too, and you can change how you sort their responses as well. So that is, that question feature that I use after a lecture or a note-taking session sometimes. Another way that I share notes, some students need notes, that modeling done for them on how to take notes. If you have access to something like, I don't think you can see it here, but I have a doc cam. I can't bring it over here, but I have a doc cam or a webcam, or if you're doing notes on the computer, you can use Screencastify. The free feature only goes to 10 minutes, which is why I got cut off in the last video, but you can use Screencastify to show how you are taking notes. And you can even do what I'm doing if you have, a webcam on your laptop or at your computer, show you kind of explaining things to the students as well. And I've done this multiple times over the years, not just on Google Classroom. I used to also post videos of myself, modeling note taking or explaining a lesson. Once again, for those students that are going to be out or may have missed something, it is very useful. Or even to some of our, students who need academic support or in special ed, just being able to go back and access what you did during a lesson, or their parents to go back and see the lesson, is extremely useful. So let's see if I can find a copy. Okay, so here are some videos that I posted. So this is from way back in January. And I had it in two parts because it was, 20 minutes of note taking. Maybe not quite 20 minutes, but the students can click on the videos and it will open them up, and then they can just hit play. Oh, there's my science starter right there. But you can see, that's why it probably is so long. So there's me, my notebook in class, talking to students and writing things down. So that is an option as well. If you prefer to show maybe handwritten notes, you can do it that way. If you have access to, a document camera, or maybe even have a student record you if you're doing it on like a whiteboard or a chalkboard, and then you can post it on Google Classroom. And I just do that as an announcement, or as an assignment. And then you can either, look for what you're uploading from your computer. If it's on, a USB drive, let's say it's on something like this, you can look for it there. If you upload it onto YouTube, you can look at it. You can look for it. in Google Drive, or you can, do the YouTube search here for it, which a lot of my videos end up being on YouTube for the students to access. Another way, also, if you have another teacher that has notes, you can look it up that way, or if they have a link that they've sent you, you can paste that here in the video search. So that is another option for note taking on Google Classroom. So that concludes that whole section, and then we'll move on to assignments and feedback.